Hey, this is Robert. Thank you so much for tuning in. Isaiah Robert, but I just usually go by Robert for like professional, that type of stuff. So this is Station Square. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we got ourselves another Robert, as you can see here.
Doubled up with
Artist, and
Robert.
yeah, yeah, two Roberts on the show. How are you doing, my good sir? We were just talking a
I'm
little
doing
bit
fine.
beforehand. So yeah.
Yeah. We were just chopping it up. Greetings to everybody out there. Robert Roach. And uh, do you, have you ever looked up the derivation and the definition of the name Robert?
Uh, I think I have before, but I kind of like my brain
Not putting you on the
memories just
spot,
kind of
not putting you on the
yeah.
spot, but thinking that we're doubled up with Roberts made me think, oh well,
Yeah.
because it has a really cool meaning. Um, it stands for a bright and shining fame.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you're
you learn something new every
out
day.
there,
You know what I
Robert.
mean? Yeah.
Uh, thank you, and yeah, I know that people have referred to you as Isaiah, and Robert is fine with me because that means I don't have to forget what your name is.
Exactly. Yeah, for real. But I just want to thank you so much for doing
Please,
this today.
I,
Yeah.
I, I, I'm blessed with the opportunity to do so.
Yeah. And I also got to thank my mentor, Elder Jay Jefferson, if he ever stumbles across this, for getting us in touch. So, yeah,
Yes,
it kind of
Jay's
took us
my
a little
boy.
bit.
Jay's my
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. It took us a minute to set this up, but I'm just really happy that we're finally doing this. So, yeah, let's get this started. How is 2025 and what is like list some stuff that you kind of been working on so people can get to know like some more stuff about you because you do like illustration. So I just wanted to know, or well, the audience would like to know what you do on a day-to-day basis, and yeah, just share about your portfolio if you may.
Okay. Mundane stuff, stuff to make sure that we have insurance. I work part-time with just a regular, well, it's not a 9 to 5, it's middle of the night. Make sure that the health insurance is paid for in the home. It keeps me busy, but that's just an extraneous job because what I mainly do is illustrate and I teach illustrating at Otis College of Art and Design's continuing education program. Um, oh shoot, I had forgotten about Zoe. I got to get in touch with the parents. I mentor, or I have mentored a young lady who is extremely talented. So I teach on the side that way. In addition to that, also at Brentwood Art Center, located in Santa Monica. Really nice neighborhood uh, boutique center that teaches all kinds of art. They have their own structure and such. Uh, where is it? On Olympic? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Olympic around 16th or 17th Street in Santa Monica. Otis is in Marina Del Rey. So, uh, in broad terms, that's what I'm doing. And then, like, of course, with my own stuff, um, and with other people's boards or other people's character designs and stuff. So yeah, that's me in 2025 so far, plus conventions and stuff like
Oh, so what type of conventions do you do?
that. They're all comic book related.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, yeah, yeah.
I
Because
haven't,
I do like I do comic conventions too.
yeah, I was at San Diego Comic Con in July. Pardon me. I also do Black Comics Day down in San Diego. My friend Keith and Jones does curates that convention. Does a wonderful job. Wonderful job. He's been doing it since like about 2017, 2018, something like that. And aside from the COVID years, It's been a straight string of shows, really, really well received. In fact, it went from a single day to a 2 day event. Um, do BCAF out of San Francisco. I have done in the past, and I need to get back to East Coast Black Age of Comics Convention. That's good. Way back in the day, I used to do Motor City Con. I don't do it that much anymore because I can't get back to the Midwest. So, a number of conventions. I need to get reestablished over and see you reminded me, you make me think, man, you got a bunch to do. If you've ever been to the one in Ontario, Comic Revolution, I think is the name. They have a nice little setup. And I also have done CAMCOM, CAAM, California African American Museums convention that they have down at UCL. Ooh, that was almost a big mistake. At USC, USC. Sorry, Trojan folks. Definitely shouldn't do that since my sister graduated. Uh, got her master's from there. So, oops. Sorry, Kat. That's me in again in macro brushstrokes.
Yeah, so that's quite a bit.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the busy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess that kind of does. I guess we're sort of like starting to get into the questions here. So I think that kind of does pick segue into my first question that I more or less have for you. But when you're doing a lot of because you mentioned being busy and doing a lot of the conventions and then doing artwork, what is something that really helps you, stay on top of everything that you do, like for conventions or just for clients, everything?
My wife is really helpful. We're a good team. Uh, and so I got to at least acknowledge that. Come on. And I think having a good pool of friends around me who have helped me to um, understand what goes into it. I mean, I remember now, I've gone to San Diego Comic Con as an example for decades. But when I first was going there, I didn't know what it was about. And I've been going to San Diego Comic Con before it was, I mean, it's ginormous. It's not gigantic, it's ginormous. And as far as major events related to comics and the entertainment industry are concerned, it's the granddaddy. It's the matrix that others have used to try to map out how they're going to put their projects together. Um, but it wasn't always a ginormous thing. And I remember going to it shortly after I returned from Japan and relocated into the United States. And at that time, you could walk up to the door, buy your ticket for the day, and go in. Can't do that anymore.
For
If you haven't bought a badge in the past, because you can't get tickets, if you haven't bought a badge in the past, you're on a waiting list, and they cap out how many they sell. Um, uh, about 10 years ago, I was driving from Los Angeles into San Diego Comic Con, and I was listening to the radio, and uh, the radio station in San Diego had run a poll. So it was while the Chargers were still in San Diego. And they asked the question, um, if only one of these things could stay in San Diego between Comic Con, the Chargers, or the Padres? Which was most important to San Diego citizens? And Comic Con won out of those three. So now the convention is so big and so integral to um, the city of San Diego that it's almost like the convention that used to be swallowed by downtown San Diego has now swallowed downtown San Diego during that time period. So that's what they look like. Smaller conventions are totally different. I mean, you can't compare something like CamCom, which is a local thing, um, not strictly black, but since it's related to California African American Museum, it is black oriented. Um, you can't compare it to Comic Con, but you can compare some of these other projects. And like I just noticed, man, I do a lot of black oriented conventions, don't I? Which is a cool thing. But CamCom, uh, BCAF, Black Artist Day. Got to get back to East Coast Black Age of Comics Convention, and so uh, yeah. And I have thought in the past that we are doing a good job as a Black community, um, getting our geekdom on more and more nowadays. But I think we still have to do a little better job of outreach.
Yeah, because the way I see it, when you go to like an event like a comic convention or even just like a outside event, and you're sharing just, your work and everything out there, I think it's kind of like, in a way, you're using, your work as like some sort of a ministry to people to show them like, hey, this is what I do. This is how I use Christ, or if I'm using like, my overall African American, just anything. And it's so great that you're being invited to a lot of these events that are very much are, Black, African American oriented, and just really sharing those about, your passion and your journey and how you're using, this work to lead others to the Lord in a way, if that makes sense.
Mhm. I understand
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Um, One thing that I try to be consistent about is um, being a being an example rather
Mhm.
than being a definition. Uh, what I mean by that is so many people walk around and define themselves as a Christian, and they they talk it and they put on a certain facade. Um, but when you drill down into how they're acting, are you really being Christ-like? And um, I try to make sure that instead of that, I'm being an example. Had a Comic Con, talking about Comic Con. Uh, Let me preface what I'm about to say with I have all kinds of people who are friends, all kinds of backgrounds. Some of them are believers, and some of them absolutely are not. And I don't trip either way. I try to be about what I am, not about what somebody else expects me to be. And um, in this regard, I had a guy who I met at San Diego Comic Con because he's from a different part of the country. Um, named Tony, uh, and real nice guy, real intelligent guy, very learned person, but he's atheist, and um, and I'm fine with that. That's his decision. Um, when I say I'm fine with that, I'm fine with the fact that you got to make these types of decisions for yourself. Can't make them for anybody else. Um, and we have great conversations. And he knows because I've said to him that, hey, I'm a Christ follower. It's who I am. It's what I'm trying to do. Doesn't make me perfect. My temper's too short. Uh, I got to police my vocabulary at those moments. Uh, you know, I have to do better for me. But when Robert is at his best, and even when Robert's at his worst, he's trying to be the example that our ultimate paragon presented for us, Christ. And so um, we have Tony and I have great conversations uh, where I let him say what he wants, what he thinks, what he feels, how he goes about it, and where I respond with where I'm coming from. I mention him specifically because I think he's a good example of how I try to fill my space when I'm in those places. Um, while we were there one year at Comic Con, he had a tragedy happen in his family, and an important relative died while we were at Comic Con, and it was he got confirmation of the passing as um, the convention was breaking down, and so I was breaking down my booth area as he got this text. Um, and he had known about the sickness, the sudden sickness, while he was at Comic Con, and he had updated me during the 4.5 days we were there. And he was planning to fly back to the South, where he is from originally, and see about his family. But that day, um, he found out as we were breaking down that after that evening, he found out. And I said to him, no, knowing that, like he's a non-believer, um, I said to him, hey man, I hope you can hear from me what I'm about to say to you. Uh, I'm praying for you, bro. I'm, I am praying for you. And then I hugged him and he said, hey, Robert, I can hear that from you. I can hear that from you because you try to, you don't just try to play it, you try to be it. And so that's just, because you're going to run into all kinds of people in those places. And okay, fine. How do you navigate those spaces? Do you navigate because I am not a Christian comic book artist. I'm a comic book artist who's a Christian. And I say that because there are comic book, there are Christian comic book companies that exist. A good friend of mine, Ralph Miley. I see Ralph at almost every convention. Real good brother. And he runs a Christian comic book company. I love to work with Ralph if we ever have a project. And then I will be illustrating a Christian comic book. But I am a Christian who does comics. And so, how do I fill these spaces? If somebody comes to me and they've got a werewolf comic, well, it's not a Christian comic, but I'm still a Christian guy doing it, and there are certain things I won't work on because of that. I work on almost anything, but there are things that are, I believe, maybe denigrating, whatever, and I just have to say, hey, you have a right to publish what you want to do, and I ain't your daddy. You ain't got to call me and make excuses for it or anything. But I'm just not about that. If you need to know somebody who might be good, like I have some former students that might be good, here you go. Here's your information. I just have to make sure that I draw certain lines for myself and that I project my sense of professionalism and my sense of personhood in a certain way.
And that's a pretty good, and thank you for sharing that story, man. Like, my condolences go out to him and his family.
Yeah, yeah, he's good. We've 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 talked on the phone since then. We've texted since then. His family has grown a little bit, so he hasn't been able to come back to Comic Con. I hope he does soon. Love to holler at him. So we stay in touch.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Just having to grow that community, even with those that are because wherever you're at in life, like if you're a believer or not, is about making those, drawing people closer. You know what I mean?
Yes. We you know, I have never seen somebody's life change by hitting them over the head with the Bible. Never seen it happen. Uh,
Yeah.
we do a better job of affecting lives by acting right ourselves. Um, Again, I work in the entertainment industry, buku people with buku beliefs. And surprisingly, there are a lot of folks in the entertainment industry uh, who, well, who call themselves Christians, and some folks who actually are. Um, and so the idea that they don't exist is completely incorrect. That's the idea that people outside of quote Hollywood think about Los Angeles's entertainment community. Um, but yeah, there's all kinds of people who do all kinds of things. I'm in the, well, no, I don't even want to use myself as an example. Uh, One person A could be into crystals and whatever, and person B could be into astrology, and person C maybe Buddhist, person D maybe atheist. There's a broad swath of people because the entertainment industry is um, is a community that's made up by so many people who sought it out, and they come from different parts of the world. Actually, we think in terms of the United States, but really from all around the world, and end up in Los Angeles pursuing this. And so you have a lot of folks coming with a lot of ideas, and they're rubbing shoulders with various people, and they may acquire new ideas or whatever. And so, uh, so in my opinion, and in how I have tried to comport myself, it's better that you be about you. It's better that you make sure that you know what your boundaries are, and you say, okay, I can go up to here, but I can't cross over there. And I'm not going to play around with it. I'm not going to project something else. This is who and what I am. And now, if you're different, if you got something else, and we're in a space where we can interact and we're cool, fine. But if you are uh, about crystals and we have lunch and we're cool and all right, and you want to invite me to a party and that's cool, dude, I'll go to your party. But if we break out the crystals and we start, like chanting and, well, I got to go, you know, this is not about me. Like we could still be cool. I'll see you at work on Monday, or we'll be on that Zoom meeting talking about that project. I don't have time to be tripping over what somebody else thinks about themselves and their own spiritual relationship. I have time to think about mine, to make sure that I am right and to make sure that I'm projecting a Christ centered lifestyle. And so, if I can do that, despite my flaws, despite my challenges, because I got flaws and I got challenges, if despite that, we can have like a Joshua attitude, as for me and mine attitude. Um, okay, and every day I'll try to get a little bit better. I'll try to make sure that the prayers that I express are the things that I also try to put into action. It's easy to say, Lord, I need this, I need that, I need that, this. But I go, Lord, uh, I'm willing to act this way, I'm willing to act that way. I love the statement in the Bible where the man is asking Christ to bless his son because of his possession, and Christ asks, like, do you believe? And he said, yes, Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. So yeah, he said, I believe up to a point. So help me get to the place where I need to, as far as true faith and true belief is. So like, ain't nobody out here an uber Christian. Like, the Christ was the uber Christian, and we're all trying to get better. I mean, the patriarchs and matriarchs that we look at from the scripture all have flaws, and uh, they try to get better on a daily basis. I mean, Paul had to rebuke Peter, and Barnabas had to rebuke Paul. So, they all had to say, hey, I fell short. Sorry. And they all had to dap it out and say, it's all good, bro. We all trying to be better. We're all trying to be more like that guy that laid down the ultimate pattern for us.
So I guess to close us out, if you'd like to share your testimony with your walk with Jesus, that would be really awesome.
Oh man, I
And
got
if you have any last bit of advice that you want to give to those that want to do what you're doing, yeah, like just comics or just doing anything, their heart
okay.
desires,
Well,
yeah,
well
get close.
Robert, let me know if you'd like any art to edit in
Okay.
to the podcast, because I'm more than happy to show it to you, share it with you. It's probably way better than looking at this face, and look at the artwork is way, way, way more fun. Um, uh, and in terms of, okay, I'll take them in the order that you asked. Um, I I know that I am still work in progress because I'm not dead. Um, and I don't know that I have a testimony for that reason. And I'm really not trying to dodge. I'm trying to be honest. Um, uh, I think back where I came from, and I think about those moments where uh, I think about the moments where I made decisions based on what seemed right, and what, in terms of um, the general public, was right, and they were not God centered, and they were screw ups, and I'm thinking about benign stuff. We all do stuff where we know, okay, I'm doing this because I want to, and it's not really what I'm supposed to do. And I know what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not doing it. We've had those moments. Um, and then we have to repent from them, and then we have to recover from them. And the recovery is the recovery is way more difficult than it would have been if we had simply been obedient from the get-go. Um, and I'm not really thinking about those in this moment. I'm thinking about the times where, uh, and there have been a few of them in my life where you could really see uh, the hand of God working behind the scenes. And as a person who has experienced these types of things, uh, I know that there's way more in terms of reality uh, and in terms of a spiritual existence that goes beyond me. And I say that because, like, in addition to what I've experienced in my own life, I see it in the lives of others. And uh, I am uh, I'm way more patient with people who say, I'm not a Christian. I'm whatever. I'm Buddhist. Um, and I say, okay, because I know that there's something beyond this simple physical life that we have around us. There's something more. There is a divine. Um, I am. I get along more easily with these people than the folks who think that this is it, it's done, we're out and such. Because there's so much mystery, um, there's so much beyond our own cognition and our own understanding and our own experiences that scream, man, it ain't just about y'all. Don't you know there's so much more beyond this? And so I fault the people who stop there saying that it's more, man. You know, like, now you can believe what you want to believe, and I'm not mad at you, but I'm saying, check this out. There's so much more. And I have a problem with us as Christians. I'm going to be real. We put God in this really tiny, tiny box, and we, you know, we say silly things like, this is the way God had to do it. He created the world in 6 days, and then he rested on the Sabbath, and that's it. And I believe that, absolutely do. But how long was a day? Well, you see, the sun, it was 24 hours. Well, the sun wasn't created when he made creation. He said, "Let there be light," and then there was light. So if there wasn't light before he said, "Let there be light," how was there a day? You know, we get into thinking our existence is 24 hours a day, so God's must be 24 hours a day. He says, "My thoughts are beyond your thoughts. My ways are beyond your ways." And we try to put him in this box because we know our ways. Therefore, God must function the way that we say he functions. He's way beyond us, man. Way, way, way beyond us. How can I tell you how God did what he did or how he does what he does when all of existence is a part of his plan and his creation. I, you know, I just when I I explained it to somebody this way. Maybe it'll make sense. Maybe it won't. I get paid to take words. Like somebody may send me a script, somebody may send me a breakdown, somebody may send me a uh, an idea of a character that they want designed, um, whatever, to execute what I have to execute. I guess this spills over into the art side of stuff too. Um, I take their words and I try to create something concrete from it. I try to use uh, the intelligence I have, knowledge I've acquired, the skills that I can still execute with, and come up with something concrete from the words that they used to describe the entity that they hope to use in entertainment. Um, that's what I do. I take the word and make it real, ultimately. Now, I, as a person who is tasked to do this, and I do this regularly, so I apologize for talking too much.
No worries, but you were saying.
Yeah, I apologize. Um, I was saying that, okay, that's my job. Uh, Taking somebody's ideas, sometimes taking my own, taking someone else's, and fashioning something real from the imagination that they have expressed. Um, and I can't figure out how God does what he does. Uh, and he, um, like in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. It all began with the word. And that's John, but you go back beyond that and say Genesis, that he moved, like his spirit moved across the waters, and he said, "Boom, let there be light." You know, it all came from the word, and how he did it is a mystery. I, as a person who is tasked with using his ability to create based on words, is telling you whoever, you can't figure it out. So quit trying. You can show nice examples of this and that, and it's wonderful. But you can't try to fit God into this little tiny box if you really say that you follow him. I, as a person who is tasked with creating, can't tell you how he created. You need to just quit it, accept it, and go on to the next thing. And try to, in your life, be such a cool example of how you care about people in the world. Not a perfect one. Not saying you're supposed to then let people walk all over you and abuse you, and like you're supposed to smile and all the kind of stuff. No. Jesus turned over tables. And, Jesus, he like when he had the ability, when the disciples wanted to pick up swords, to say, "Leave those swords alone." Come on now. He had the ability to do that. He said, "Okay, yeah, okay. Guys got a couple are fine." So I'm not saying, okay, you got to let yourself be a punk. No, 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 no. Not going in that direction at all. Uh, But in terms of how you comport yourself and how you try to not put God's words, no, let me flip flop that. How you try to put God's words in your mouth and try to stop trying to put your words in his mouth. You might reach a lot more people. You might find that some folks are looking at you and trying to see, okay, why would I want to believe what this dude believes? Why would I want to have a life like that person has? If I see the hypocrisy in their behavior, why would I want that? When I was way back when I was in college, summer vacations, worked at Marion General Hospital, the painting department. Shout out to my dad and to my uncle Art getting me in there and getting it was a great summer job. Um, there was one young lady, I didn't work anywhere close to her position in the hospital, who sought me out after I'd been working there for like about 3 or 4 weeks. And she said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate how whenever I see you in the cafeteria and you're with your friends and you guys are goofing around or whatever, before you eat, you always say grace over your food." Just as a Christian, sometimes I find that intimidating because I wonder what people are saying about me and around me. And you just, you consistently do that. And I said, well, uh, me being here, me having these friends, me having the opportunity to eat lunch are all blessings. And I at least need to take a moment to say thank you because I owe him way more than I owe anybody else around here. And she said, okay, cool. I just wanted to mention that to you. And a few days later, I was eating lunch at the same time she was. And I noticed that she paused to say grace before. And then she looked at me after she did so. And she just nodded and said, thank you. And I said, hey, no problem. So you never know who's checking you out, you know, and you never know who's saying, oh, okay, this person says that they are trying to follow Christ, but are they really? Oh, he work in the entertainment industry. Oh, he drew that, and that's not that had nothing to do with Christ. That's my job. I did my job, but there are lines that you haven't seen me cross, and within that, within my job, who do I acknowledge as the ultimate source of these skills and these opportunities? So that's when you ask me about uh, testimony or whatever. Maybe I don't have a testimony, but uh, I do have. Uh, I've had experiences, and I'm glad that within those experiences, and I've been able to say something or do something that spoke well into someone's life. That's my responsibility, and I've tried to do so. And those moments when I have not been a good representative, I've tried to go back, catch that person, say, hey, I'm sorry. I did not comport myself well, and I did not comport myself in a Christian like manner. And I don't want it to reflect on him. I want it to reflect on me. My bad.
Very well said. I just want to thank you so much for doing this and just really sharing a lot about working in entertainment and sharing, your walk with the Lord, because it's something that we all really need, especially during, uh, you know, I don't want to say especially during these times, but yeah, it feels like now more than ever, we really do need a savior. So I just really appreciate you for being vulnerable and being honest with your stories and everything. So where can people check out, yeah, because I wanted to make sure that you have like website or just socials where people could
Yeah.
check out. Yeah, it's just that stuff and then closes out, you know.
Um, hometownprods.net is my website. Um, and you'll find all kinds of stuff there. Stuff about this dude over here. The Roach is an anti-hero. So it is not a projection of me. I did not name the character. The character was named by a couple of my football teammates when I was in college. Um, and then this guy, based on Egyptian mythology, he's there. But hometown, like where you grew up, P like Peter, R, O, D like David, S like Sam.net. All kinds of artwork there, seeing stuff that I've worked on outside of my own personal IP and in terms of comics, uh, storyboards, character designs, all that kind of stuff is available there. My Patreon project, the character's name is Ethereal, Ithuriel, Ethereal, and it's a black warrior set in prehistory. Um, it's really expansive, a lot of fun. It's getting a lot of nice reviews from people who are reading it. So if you go to Patreon and you either look up Robert Roach or you look up Ethereal, and you heard me spell it, so don't ask me to do it again. Y'all should have paid attention. Uh, but yeah, it's well done. The first week is free. So, you can go there, check it out, see if you like it. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff there. I've been doing it bi-weekly, for over 2.5 years now. Have not missed. In fact, the day that we're recording, a new installment dropped. It drops every other Wednesday. And prose and new artwork. So prose and pictures. Um, uh, the comics are out there. The Roach is out there. Men through all that stuff's out there. You can pick it up at some stores in the LA area, and you can get it from us online. Get it from me at conventions or at other signings. Um, so yeah, that's me. My website, good way there. If you want to contact me directly, you can do so through the website, all that kind of stuff.
Right on. Well, I don't have anything else to really discuss. So thank you so much once again. And for my last bit of advice, just keep on shining out there. God bless. And I'll see you all next time on behalf of both Robert and
And
Robert.
Robert,
Robert and Robert. That should be a sitcom name. But anyways, take care
yeah,
and yeah, have a good one, folks. Peace.
take care, brother.
Yep, God bless.